This week on Cartoon Dumpster Dive, we cover the EI criteria of the Children's Regulations of Entertainment, along with Gadget Boy Adventures in History and Inspector Gadget Field Trip. Let's see if we can make this funny. Myself fumbling a little bit, but I feel like that's the best thing.
Played it all fucking.
Joel.
Yes, Andrew.
You know, this is it. Guy who, I don't even remember who requested this in the mega request. This is the last Inspector Gadget thing we are doing, perhaps ever.
This is it.
This is it.
What else is though to do?
There is technically a 2016 CGI series that we could potentially cover because it was 2016. But I am putting my foot down. I am done. We're talking about government regulation television this week.
You happy now? You see what you've made us do?
Early stages of edutainment. And let me tell you something. One of them is leaps and bounds ahead of the other when it comes to quality.
Yes.
One of them looks like a bad PC game, and I thought it was, but it's not. But before we get into the bulk of this episode is going to be about the EI criteria of children's entertainment.
Yeah, because the shows that we're going to talk about, the Inspector Gadget's Field Trip, there was really not much to talk about.
They both have theme songs. We do have that.
Well, the Gadget Boy in History, that was actually just season 2.
Yeah, that was season 2 because
of Gadget Boy and Heather.
This hit which EI criteria stands for educational and informative criteria for television. The season 2 hit around this requirement time.
Yeah.
I guess Field Trip starring Inspector Gadget, though it started in 1996, they must have known because it's very preemptive and follows kind of the same.
I think chance, like you said, they had insider knowledge knowing that this was coming, so they just went ahead and did it.
But before we get into that, let's review those theme songs.
Let's hit it.
Field trip. We're going on a visit. Inspector Gadget's field trip. Come on, let's go with him. Inspector Gadget's field trip. What's that, you ask? What is it? Inspector Gadget's field trip. Well, no one wants to miss it.
Wow. This is still going?
It's still going.
Jesus Christ. I think I
Half
skipped
of
the
this
intro.
show is the intro.
Okay, we got it. We got it. So let's go ahead and move.
Still going. All right.
Okay.
All in all,
I'll give it about a 2. I'm not a fan. It's it's a bad one when I'm like, is this not over?
I'm gonna give it a 3, mainly because I kind of like the beat, but it is way too long.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Because it's just the same, like, 3 balls just being repeated for 2 minutes straight. So that was Inspector Gadget's Field Trip, if you could not tell by the theme song. So next will be Gadget Boy's Adventure in History, and this might sound a little familiar, Andrew.
Poor Heather got dropped.
Yeah.
She got dropped from the main title. Oh, it's just the same thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
100%.
100%. Okay, so we know whatever we gave it that one, we'll give it this one. I think I gave it like a 3, maybe a 4.
It was low. It was like a 2 or a 3.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not great. But yeah, they just change up kind of like what's happening in the opening for this one. They just add like
him going through history and stuff.
Yeah, like more of the history characters and stuff like that.
So, Joel, we know how these got made. So we're basically going to kind of go through. I feel like it would be a reminiscence to discuss the various ways that we, as a society, have regulated television for children, going as far back as the 1950s.
Yes.
It started with Newton Minow. He was one of the first officials to speak on the needs of regulation for children's programming, denouncing cartoons for being unfit for the airwaves. He even had a landmark speech about it. He did.
I wonder if there was like one particular cartoon where he was like, "This is ruining our children."
My guess is Looney Tunes. It has to be. It's got to be the most violent shit on TV at that time.
Because what else would have been like big cartoons back then? The Flintstones?
Yeah, Flintstones. Flintstones, I think, is even earlier than that. But yeah, it's just...
But back then, all the cartoons, that's all it was. It was like Looney Tunes, just level of ridiculousness.
Yeah. And I mean, it's the regulations on children. Like some of them were needed. Some of them were big overcorrections. Like one of the things that they were really big on was, they can't just be commercials. Like you have to watch what you advertise. They were really big on violent superhero cartoons.
Yep.
They said that they were very hard on that. I mean, we're still in the 60s, but you know, Fred Rogers, Mr. Rogers, had to get up and testify for television, for children's entertainment. Because it was going a little too hard on the censorship for children. You know, we fast forward a little bit. You know, George Bush Sr. also makes some efforts to, well, I guess it's not George H. Bush, right?
It would be.
Well, I mean, he's not. They're like George W. Bush is not George Bush Jr. is, I guess, what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, it's all, you know. Yeah, it's just. I would just say Bush Sr.
Yeah. So he. Actually, it goes earlier than that. So a lot of this got repelled due to the Reagan administration. So when Reagan became, yes, because they did the Children's Television Act where they were like, you can only sell things to children through commercial broadcasting.
Yep.
And then when Reagan became president, he didn't go so far as to relapse the rules so much as he just kind of made it to where it's like, no, you can definitely make a show about toys just to sell toys and then make a commercial about the toy after the cartoon about toys airs. That's when we start getting Transformers, G.I. Joe, My Little Pony, all these like and then it goes crazy in the 90s because when it got repelled, it was about 1987, maybe 1986.
Is that when we started seeing like the
that's
education parts of G.I. Joe?
Well, that was part of it. So they kind of when we get to there, that was one of the things that Reagan kept in. So it's like that whole, and knowing that is half the battle thing, that was like the compromise. So it's like you have this toy show, but it has like maybe 10 seconds of educational content at the very end. And then 1996 regulations happen. And, basically, this is kind of where we get into our EI criteria. So if you are a network and you have a block for children or you air children's programming, you have to dedicate 3 hours of it to educational purposes and educational purposes only.
Okay.
This is like this is FCC regulations. So it's not just like, it's not like suggested. It's required. You will get fines if you do not do it the same way they.
This is kind of when we saw hysteria.
Yeah, I mean, it is. It's kind of around there. A lot of it is, but this wasn't just for animation. This was Leave It to Beaver is considered educational programming because it teaches you moral lessons, so to speak. But this is where EI gets this is where the EI criteria is this is where it's formed at its strongest. And this is where you're getting Captain Planet, you're getting Gadget Boy through history and Inspector Gadget Field Trip. Now, 2006 and 2019, you actually have something that these other parts of entertainment, educational information, entertainment did not have. We did not have this problem, but streaming services are on the rise. Yeah. So now you have to figure out what to do with them, which there wasn't. I mean, it was more like if you have children's entertainment, there has to be educational options. There can't just be slop. But you also get rid of the advertisement aspect because you're on streaming. It's ad free. And this is still, 2006 for sure. 2019, we're starting to teeter on streaming services that have ads. One of the main things that they did in 2019 is that you can do sub channels for children's entertainment. So now you have like the sub channels being like Nick Jr. or PBS Kids, and now you don't have to. Now you can dedicate stuff like Cartoon Network and Nickelodeon to just whatever you want to put on there, you can put on there. And now and if it's educational, because remember, it's only 16 and under that you have to worry about. But even then, when you hit the teen years, it's more about the gray area for educational when you're into the preteen and then teenage years is more about morals. Whereas when you got little kids entertainment, which is, we don't cover that on the show, but it's more about like, these are shapes and this is numbers and, don't bite your friend if they don't give you your toy.
This is your left. This is your
life. That's right. Now, there have been notable violations to the EI criteria. In 2007, Univision agreed to a record $24 million fine from the FCC for violations of the educational program regulations across 24 of its stations. The fine acted upon a complaint by the United Church of Christ and the National Hispanic Media Coalition, alleging that youth telenovela, I fucked that up, claimed by Univision and EI programming did not meet the requirements for the core educational programming, citing their lack of actual educational content and themes inappropriate for youth audiences, which sometimes around 2007 and past as a budding teenager might have gone to Univision for their inappropriate content. Their talk shows were wild.
I know what you're saying now.
Yes.
Yep.
In 2004, Disney and Viacom were respectfully issued a $1 million fine for violating the limits on advertising during children's programming. So they were running more commercials than they were,
you get a
actual programming.
Show,
yeah.
10-minute show and 20 minutes of commercials.
I do believe, so I have a theory about that. I do believe that shows like Adventure Time and regular show, like, you know how when they got massively popular, but if you remember, they're Adult Swim rules. They're only like 11 to 12 minutes long. And I think they were doing that because the second the show ends, you get to run commercials.
Yes.
And then finally, these are just a few violations. These are like, people have violated them, but these are like the heavy hitters. But in September of 2022, the FCC proposed a total of $3.4 million in fines to 21 stations, which violated the programming length commercial rules by airing commercials for Hot Wheels toys during broadcast of the show Team Hot Wheels. So so the show itself is a giant commercial. That was big. That was one of the biggest changes of 2006 is that you couldn't slam the product and the show that's the product together. So you couldn't do a Hot Wheels commercial and then on the break be like, you love this show so fucking much. Why don't you play with it in real life? They were like, you cannot do this.
It can't be
that is
how it
that
was
is
with
too much, because one of the big things, and one of the things that I agree with a lot, especially being a parent now, maybe if we were doing the show a few years ago, I wouldn't get it. Children are highly impressionable.
Yeah. I've always said kids are stupid.
They are. They're really dumb because they just got here. You know,
Yeah. I mean,
it's their first day at work, so to speak.
I don't know anyone, I do not know a grown adult who would look me in the face and say, you know what? I was a smart kid, a lot smarter back then than I am now. No, it's like you look back on it, you realize like, okay, every kid's stupid because that's just what you are at that age.
But what's really funny with all of this stuff and the regulation of children's television and programming is it really should have been if you really think about it, it should have been a one and done, like the first time, and then maybe some amendments with the growing of technology. But most of this is just them having to keep, if you really do a deep dive like I kind of did with this, it is nothing but network television pushing back on the government to try to, and it's not even for something good. Like, it's not for anything that would benefit the human race. It's literally, they're like, we know that kids will annoy the shit out of parents to get what they want. And some dad who hasn't had a good night's sleep, some poor mom and dad who hasn't had a good night's sleep and who knows how long, it's just like, if I get you this Transformers, will you please go to fucking sleep? And they're like, yeah, Dad. I'm like, fuck it. And here we go. All right. I'm driving to the Star right now.
We're getting a good night's sleep. We're doing it.
I am sleeping in for once before I die.
Well, it sounded like there was one fine that was around not having enough education segments.
Yeah, but that was Univision. But all the other ones, it's just selling.
It's just like, oh, you ran the wrong commercials. You're targeting kids for your ads. That's all it's ever been.
Oh, another one was Kids WB constantly got in trouble during the anime boom of the 90s.
Of course.
With program length and running, basically they kept running, like, their cross promotions with Pokemon kept getting them fines. Anytime that, because if you go back and we could probably do an episode on this on anime, But Kids WB's cross-promotional things, because they locked in and they pretty much had every single influential anime that got every Western child into anime short of Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah.
Because they had Yu-Gi-Oh!, Pokemon, Digimon. They had them all.
It was WB and Toonami.
Yeah.
Those were the two
really
that
was.
kind of introduced it. That's it.
But basically,
WB
just-
also made so much money from Pokemon. They was just like,
oh
we'll
my
pay the
God.
fine.
It was
Who
like,
cares?
yeah, it was so a lot of these fines and a lot of these hot water from the networks reminded me of Michael Jordan. And it will make sense in a few minutes for those. Like, I'm not a big sports guy, but I'm a big petty moments in history guy. Because I know several, because I'm not a big David Bowie fan, but he's got another one. But Michael Jordan, Air Jordans were on the rise. And one of the things that the NBA was not a fan of was him wearing his Air Jordans on the court. And the FCC, along with the NBA, were just like, you can't do that. If you don't stop, we're going to find you. I think it was like $10,000 a game. And Nike was like, we'll pay that, because they were making so much money off of Air Jordans. They did not care. So a lot of these networks, I don't know about Univision, because they're still like the top when it came to fines. But the rest of the 24 million. I mean, granted, it was in 2007, but still, that's a lot for a network. But yeah, WB, this is the 90s. WB is raking in cash, hand over foot. And Disney can piss away $1 million without even thinking about it. So it's not like they even gave a fuck. That's kind of the problem with the way these regulations work.
Yeah.
The people behind them they can just pay the fines. It's kind of like the criminal justice system is a pay to play system. As long as you can pay the fines, you can technically get away with whatever you want.
Oh yeah.
And this is kind of this. This is the advertisement capitalism version of the government is trying to actually. This is one of the few times I actually agree with the government. They're doing something to hey, you can't just. You have to provide entertainment that will either teach kids morals or something, just science, anything. And then all these networks are like, fuck that. Go buy Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle stuff.
So I also feel like the government really doesn't care about education TV.
They don't give a fuck. They did this just to. I feel like enough of them did, but not the whole thing.
I feel like it was just they got annoyed that so many parents were complaining that it's, hey, we gotta give them something, guys. Because
that is
even with the Telenova $24 million fine, they didn't even care until someone complained about it.
Oh yeah, no, it's all from complaints. It's all from parents. Because it's kind of it's one of the things that they're not going. They have the rules in place, but they're not going to enforce them until some people get annoyed about it.
They don't,
and even then, not that much. It's just like adult animations getting episodes pulled.
Yeah,
the FCC and the networks would not give a shit if it was not for the millions of phone calls that they get about them. But I feel like we covered that pretty good.
I did.
As far
I
as
did want to ask a question because did you actually watch any of the Inspector Gadget's field trip?
Oh no, we're going to talk about that next. I just wanted to preface this why. But yes, I watched Inspector Gadget's field trip on Pluto TV.
Okay, let's just go ahead and dive into it then.
It looks like a bad point and click PC game from the era that it was made. I feel like it was, and they just forgot to hire a programmer.
You'll get this reference.
Okay.
It reminds me of, you remember in South Park when they start their news channel
Okay.
and they're competing against Craig's TV show?
Oh, what is it? It's just puppies or something, right?
Yeah, it's just like cute animals with a wide angle lens.
That's it.
That's what this makes me think of. I'm like, just how quickly the clips just bounce around.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, I feel like it's just a clickbait show.
Yeah, it almost looks fan made. Like it looks like somebody made it like later, or it's just like, I don't know, like this almost feels like, even though it's not, Inspector Gadget was in the public domain and somebody just was like, well, we could just use them for edutainment.
Yeah.
Because all they did was they have videos of real life stuff and they just superimpose Gadget over it, and he explains whatever he's in front of with very little pizzazz, might I add. This is a very boring show, which I feel like a Gadget Boy Adventures in History does a little better. Like, they pepper in the historical facts, but it's still a cartoon adventure show, which is
they made an actual show with like a story.
Yeah, Gadget Boy Adventures in History is more like Hysteria, a show we covered way back in the show. And Inspector Gadget Field Trip feels more like movie day at school that would make you just rather do a lesson instead. Because, I mean, this would be one of the things I would fall asleep in school and then get in trouble when they're just like, hey, you can't be sleeping. I'm like, are you kidding me? How the hell is anybody supposed to stay awake during this?
I swear the whole reason they made this had to just be, we want to be the new Magic School Bus. We want to be that VHS that is shown on every movie day in school.
Wheeling in that cart TV.
So I don't mind like a travel show. Like if you're going to show me clips from around the world, I don't mind that. Throwing some education like a documentary, that's good. Just how they did all of this. I don't think Inspector Gadget is the best narrator for a show.
No, that's another point. Yet if you were to redo it, I would try to do more like Gadget Boy Adventures in History.
Yep.
Make it animated. You can still go to all these places. It's not like you couldn't just draw them in the background. And then Gadget, he's a dumb goof, so he's not going to know what any of these historical landmarks are anyway. And then you just have Penny explain it to him, and that way he's your focal point to learn about the pyramids or the Eiffel Tower.
Oh my God.
Or whatever it is you're doing. Or
he can ask
why there's a gondola. Yeah, he can ask the questions for you, and then Penny explains it because she's smart. Which
do you think there would be a better duo than Inspector Gadget and Penny
to do this kind of show from a cartoon perspective? I guess any dumb smart combo could do any kind of educational show. I mean, there's not really any. Hell, you could do this with Fred, Barney, and the Great Gazoo if you wanted.
Pinky and the Brain.
Pinky and the Brain.
That one
could
would
work.
Be good.
But really, it would end with like Brain just beating the shit out of Pinky because he still doesn't get it. They're
Why do I
just
feel
big
like-
triangles, aren't they, Brain? Morph. And he's
I
I'm
feel
going
like
to
it would
hurt
be-
you, Pinky.
It would be Brain. He would give you like a history of the place, but then he would go to the dark history of the place.
That would be. Okay, so Dropout
Yeah.
is like a college humor streaming service. So they have a show that was like that. It was called What the Fuck 101. And it was basically just dark moments in history and it was done like the Magic School Bus. It was only,
Really?
oh dude, it's so good. It was like one of their first things they made, like, cause Dropout started and it was like, it's like nothing. They had nothing, but it's
Yeah.
also like $5 a month, which now they've increased it to a whopping $7.
Woo.
And I remember that the creator of all of this was like, I'm so sorry we have to charge you. He made a whole video and it's just like 3 minutes of him apologizing, charging you $2. And in fact, that video it's the reason I subscribed to Dropout now.
Just
why.
because, like,
Because
you saw-
he just had so much humility about it, and you could just see how earnest he was. He's like, he's like, I'm so sorry that I had to do this. We have to, increase $2 because of inflation, and this helps pay for the staff and all the shows that you love. And he's like, I would never want to ask this of any of you. I'm like, God damn, this is over $2.
Fine, take it.
I'm like,
After that
fuck.
apology?
I did it by the year. I have a whole year of Dropout. I watched 2 shows on that fucking thing.
I wasn't
they
even
haven't really-
subscribed to you, but I just
Yeah,
subscribed.
you sold me just on how good of a person I think you are. But yeah, no, if you're not subscribed to Dropout, listener, give it a shot. In fact, this might be our TikTok clip this week. Me doing a free commercial for Dropout because they're cool.
So the question I had about the whole, education law,
Right.
who verifies the education that the show is trying to teach? Or
They don't
does it even
actually
matter?
say it's, I would imagine it'd be the FCC. Just
Okay.
who's in charge of the FCC, the head of the FCC, along with the staff of the FCC, because they do more than just censorship, but, and I suppose the Secretary of Education, I don't know I don't know. But I mean, for the most part, I would say the FCC is in charge of what is considered, educational. What's considered
Yeah.
edutainment? Because I mean, honestly, the rules on what is considered edutainment is pretty lax.
Oh yeah.
I mean, there's not a lot to it.
Because I was watching the first episode of Inspector Gadget's Field Trip, and they're talking about, I can't remember what animal, but they relate the animal to a possum.
Mm-hmm.
And, they just show a picture of a possum and put possum underneath it, but they misspelled possum. And
Well, wait, did they spell it opossum or? Because some people spell it opossum and then some people drop the O.
yeah,
But it was just spelled wrong at all.
Well, no, they dropped the O. Which,
Okay.
we can get into the debate of, I don't think the O is necessary in possum. Like, why the hell do we even have that O in there? But I think the technical way is with an O to spell it, right?
It's either or. I think it's like, how color has
color?
a U. Yeah. Color and gray are spelled differently and stuff like that. So
Oh,
I think I'm pretty sure it's a regional thing.
It is a regional thing. I just looked it up. Here, a little education for you guys.
Ooh.
So we can fulfill our education requirement.
Yeah, we can fulfill our educational requirement. Technically, we're history. If
There you go.
really want to get into it.
But you are right. It's dependent on regions. They say opossums are native to the Americas, while possums are found in Australia.
Okay.
The more you know.
But yeah, I feel like we actually covered a lot. We learned a lot, I hope.
I like to think so, Andrew. I learned a lot more about education in our television sets.
I mean, it was mainly more about educational content in the Americas. I don't know what the rules are everywhere else, but I know with us, we have had a long battle with edutainment. And as always, it is the least funded form of media for children every time, because it's a reluctant. They do it reluctantly.
Yeah, if they had it their way, if the government had it their way, there would be none of those requirements, and companies could just make as much money.
Yeah, they could do whatever they want. It's a lot like it's like with the government with minimum wage. If your job could pay you $1, they would.
Yeah.
So steal office equipment as much as you can. So, but I don't think we need to do a new reoccurring segment for you on this one, because there's nothing, right?
No.
There's like one review that's just says very boring.
The first
Inspector
sentence,
Gadget.
The first sentence is pretty great. It's this show is incredibly boring.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay.
Yeah, they got their point across, and then Gadget Boy through history has a sitting 6.6, and then for some reason Inspector Gadget Field Trip has an 8, but it also only has 95 reviews, and then Gadget Boy Adventures in History only has 68.
Ooh.
They barely break, both of them together are over 100, but only by a little bit. But I believe that wraps up our special on the educational and informative criteria of children's entertainment.
Now
in the
buy our
Americas.
merchandise.
Yeah, buy our Scrub-a-doo. Subscribe to Patreon to get Cartoon Dumpster Dive exclusive merch. Actually, it's not exclusive. You can buy it individually at our store, I think. I have been working on getting a die-cast pin of the peaked in the 90s. I have to do it on the desktop, because every website I go to is like, you need to do it on the desktop because it would suck on mobile. I'm like, fine. And also, there's a factory near my house that makes hats.
Ooh.
I was going to swing by them, see if they could put the dumpster logo on a hat. So please get your friends to subscribe to the Patreon so I don't have a fucking office full of hats. And then when I'm like 45 years old, I don't have to explain to my son why I got all these hats with cartoons with a dumpster television that says CDD.
We got 500
Why do
hats?
we have this? I'm like, I don't know. Dad really thought this show was going to pick up a lot more in the 5-year stretch. But if you would like to support the show, you can go to patreon.com/cartoondd. There we have the $5 tier that gets you access to our Discord, which gets you access to the Mega Request. I don't know if you're going to get to do one like this again, but we'll see. You also get stickers and pins mailed to your door, along with extended audio episodes and bonus episodes. We have a website where you can send regular requests, cartoondumpsterdive.com, and maybe check out our store and buy some merch. We are Cartoon DD on Twitter and Blue Sky. We are Cartoon Dumpster Dive across all other social media platforms. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel if you want to listen to podcasts through YouTube. And as always, we appreciate a 5-star review on the podcasting platform of your choice so we can educate and inform you for years to come. Bye.
See you. You win some and you lose some. You got to know when to hold 'em. Know when to fold 'em.
Okay, I'm recording again.
Know when to walk away. Know when to run.
This has been a Lug Hole Podcast.